Hello friends, how are you today? Well, I'm really excited to be back with you to talk about the Schumann resonance and to talk about these amazing images on the chart. You'll see here that we have a new wave forming, and I'll do a video on that once we get the full image. Before I get into the chart, I just wanted to share a little with you personally. Last weekend and the next week mark a milestone in my life, a really, really big milestone. I'm not sure how many videos I'll make over the next week, but in the first week of June, I will be at a new stage in life after passing these milestones. So I just wanted to share that with you. It's a huge, big deal for me. It's amazing that it coincides with the new moon energies. The new moon energies are so potent and so strong, and it doesn't surprise me at all that this incredible image came out with the new moon energy on the chart, these two images that I'm about to show you. After having the major shocks that I had in January, February, March, and then recovering and having shingles in April, and by the way, thank you to all the people who gave me ideas on how to deal with shingles. I just want you guys to know I didn't respond because I just didn't have that much energy at the time. But I want you all to know that I've researched all the suggestions that every one of you made. I am taking some of those, like the ones that resonated for me. You can use those to ward off shingles as well, as you all know who wrote those in. So I really, really appreciate it and wanted to thank you guys. It was really sweet when people gave me those suggestions. So I've got back into regularly making the videos, and I'm really, really happy about that and grateful, and added more. I'm adding more of the astrology, as you can tell, and I'm going to continue to do that. I also put off holding a second Human Energy 1 class because of this. This is my announcement of that. I haven't gotten back to anyone who contacted me. After this week, I will be on getting back to all of you once I pass this major life milestone. I'm just grateful to be here with you all, and we're in a time of incredible challenges, but also incredible opportunities, and I have just been amazed in delving more into sort of the astrology energies, how there has been this incredible connection between the energies in the astrology systems and the energies on the Schumann chart. And the next images from the chart we're looking at are going to completely and directly tie in. It just is so incredible to me, the way that the astrology is flowing through me, and I'll just get these inner promptings to look at this, and I'm so grateful for that, and for people who've commented on those videos. And it enhances my ability to talk about the Schumann resonance, and it enhances what I can offer you guys in terms of interaction and engagement. Like, I can offer readings that include astrology or that are just about the astrology for you all. So I just wanted to share that joy with you as well. In every challenge, there's opportunity. And when we look for that, we look for the grace, we look for the blessing, it just really enhances the whole thing. Look for the love and the relationships that support us. At the heart of it all, the relationship with the divine, the relationship with God, the relationship with your own soul, with the creator of who you are as a living human being. Anyway, shall we get into this? Now, we're going to look at this video, and we're going to look at this right here. We're going to look at this incredible image with all of the dramatic red. I also want to just give you a quick idea about this image, because one of the things I've really mused over is, are these two images related? Because I talked about in my wave videos, a few videos back, about how on a daily basis, right, that the energy goes around the planet depending on the characteristics of that particular wave or set of energies in a day. And so I've really mulled over, did this clump of energy, was it related to this at all? What I feel is that it's not. if anything, it may be related to the May 7th large wave. It may be that energy once again coming back around. Now, I have a theory about that I'm not going to go into now because I really want to stay focused on the meaning of this image. And I may make a video about that because it's pretty fascinating stuff. But since I've talked about waves and how they flow around the planet and all the solar flaring several times recently, let's just dig into this. Now, let me show you about the black charts and the science, the data behind these two images, and show you how they are different. You can see here the image with the red occurred around 17 is when it started, 1700 hours. So this is essentially the energy. So you see how this is very different than recent energy associated with the waves we've seen and associated with the May 7th energy and that going around the planet. And then if we look at this sort of puff of energy here, you can see it's really strong between 14 and 20 on the 30th. That would be here. So you can see how the frequencies responded very differently. The patterns are very different. So this is not related to this dramatic wave with red energy. I think that this is a follow on from another moment, from energy that I have already been making videos about, and I may explain that another time. Okay, now let's also look at the amplitudes. You can really starkly see it here. See how the amplitude is kind of in this mountain shape with two-ish peaks, okay? And then look at the peaks here. You can see that the peaking of the amplitudes, the pattern, is much, much more similar to the spiking in amplitudes we have seen with all the vertical lines, okay? And I talked about, I believe in my last video, and I also talked about the potential for the M-class flares to possibly be involved with that. Now let me just show you something. This is where we are at with the M-class flaring. You can see that as of May 30th now, we're up to 26 M-class flares in May, 2 X-class flares, and a total of 75 M-class flares from January 1st, 2022 to May 30th. Now, the source I look at is SpaceWeatherLive.com, and those guys are amazing. And I've had to go back and forth in email with them as well, and boom, they get back to me right away. I was really super impressed, so they were a great source for the data. And then if I look at October, and the reason I went back to October is because there was a high number of X-class flares in that period as well, and it's connected to the current period. So, the sun doesn't necessarily, act within our calendar. So rather than start at the beginning of the year, I started at the beginning of the pattern, the beginning of October. There were 18 M-class flares in the last 3 months of 2021. So that adds up to a total of 93 M-class flares, okay, 1 day off of 8 months, and 7 X's. This is a phenomenal amount of energy. So my question is this building to something, and how will it play out over the next coming months? Did we peak at that May 7th huge wave? Like, was that the peak and now the energies are coming off? Or are we still building to something? Now, as you can see, the energies have come off quite a bit since May 25th when there were 4 M-class flares. So I guess we will see. We will see. Now let's look at the dramatic image. So this is more reflective of the spiking sets of amplitudes corresponding to all of those M-class flares and all the days with all the flares. And I'm not saying there's a direct correlation, but I'm wondering if there is a correlation. And then let's lastly look at the qualities, the Q values. And you can see here, qualities acted very different during this red and white image than they did. They were back to kind of, during the puff cloud, I call it on the chart, with the spiked amplitudes. I mean, these amplitudes were, they're pretty strong. Like, you're up to 50 here in the white in this puff cloud. But when you look at the qualities, you can see that the qualities were much, much more dramatic with this energy. And in fact, the red spiked again above 19.4 up to 23, but it was extended for hours. Let's see, for let's see, can I add 6, 7, maybe 7 hours? And remember that we haven't had an extended peak like this in quite a while. And remember that we had this extended peak for weeks and months, going back to 2021 into the end of the year through January 29th, when the walls crumbled. And then in about March, the qualities in red attempted to come back and build this wall again, and bam, 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 M-class flare, M-class flare, multiple M-class flares in a day, multiple M-class flares within an hour, and the wall has not been able to come back. Now, there was also spiking in the green to 26, which is robust and, in my view, positive for like reflection of the essence of humanity in terms of its connectedness with the divine rises up, right? We connect with the truth of who we truly are, which is children of the Creator. Okay, and then the forces of darkness within, that deep stuff, deep emotions, tangled thoughts. Our shadow personality and the forces of darkness. That was all stimulated during this event. Let's now look at the images. And for that, what I did was I mirrored the image, and I want to thank someone as well. Okay, so I want to thank Holidays143 on Twitter who pinged me on this image. And Holidays, you did such a great job with this. It was so awesome, because I usually mirror in the other direction, and you mirrored in this direction. And so this is what I want to say, you guys. Trust your intuition. Trust what comes to you, because this was an incredible image that I'm going to talk about in a second. It completely relates to the astrology and completely relates to the next image that I'm going to share with you. So to mirror an image, we're just taking the image of the energy, okay? And then we are doing a mirror like this. I just want you to see before I kind of show you what the process is. All right, so here's the two mirrored images. This one's from Holidays, thank you very much. And this is the image that I did. And what I want to show you is, okay, what does this remind you of? It was so shocking when I saw it. And it completely reminded me of a dragon's skull. So let me give you an example of that. So it's amazing how much, to me, this looks like a dragon's skull. It even has kind of the bumps that are typically shown related to on the dragon's head right there. It has kind of the wings of spikes, or, that go out to left and right, that you usually see associated with images of dragons. It's amazing because it even has an eye on each side. Isn't that incredible? Then you see the nose here, the flared nostrils. And look, the mouth is open. Here's where you'd have the teeth, the open mouth. And here's the bottom, the top of the mouth here, and then the bottom there. So it's so incredible. And I think the energy going to the left and the right, and see out here through where the nostrils would be, right? Or the sides of the mouth. This is an active dragon. It is full of energy, and it's emitting, flames, fire, sound, and it's very passionate. So let's read a little bit about the energy of the dragon. So on whatismyspiritanimal.com, they say that when a dragon materializes, it's time to rekindle your soul's fire. That as a totem, it belongs to those who think and act with intense clarity of purpose, and to call in the dragon as your power animal when you need strength as a leader. Dragon is ancient and imposing. Dragon rules the elements and is not limited in dimensional state. It can transform into other things. It can enter the dream time. It is a primordial natural force. Now, I think it's interesting that the dragon has appeared. And the reason why is that in the astrology, we've seen the primordial force of the Leviathan rise up. And in the new moon that occurred around this time, you had the forces of darkness attempting to block the stargate that appeared at the new moon. I go into detail on that in my new moon astrology story. So here you have a dragon, and I feel that this dragon rises up to be a positive primordial force for humanity. That this dragon rises up and says, no, I do not consent to that. And in essence takes us under the wing. And look what happens here. When I look at this image, the first thing I saw was a pregnant woman. So here's her head. Here's where her eyes would be. Look, she even has a nose and a mouth. I mean, it's so incredible. Here's her chest, and you can even see her breasts here. There's even a curve and a differentiation at the arm, and the body goes in, pins in like a woman, comes into the waist. But here's her pregnant belly. And then check this out. This reminds me so much of the image that we saw that I did the extensive videos on that had the image of Hecate, Lilith in it, and the image of the man at the throne. Well, here she is. She has her knees up, and here's the birth canal, the opening to the birth canal. And you can see the energy coming out of the birth canal. She has her knees up. She has her hands on her knees, and she is giving birth. And who is protecting her? The dragon is on either side of her. I have many friends very much into dragon energy, and for every single one of these women, the dragon is a positive influence and a protector of them as women, and a protector of their divine femininity. There are people who are very connected with this energy elemental. In the astrology, let me show you this. I just made a video about fertility and children. And the date I made that video was May 27th. And the date this image appeared was May 29th on the chart. I mean, does that not blow your mind? That is incredible. The astrology pointed exactly to fertility and childbirth. And what happens? A pregnant woman giving birth shows up on the Schumann chart at the new moon. The video that I made for the new moon is here's the stargate between Aldebaran and Antares. You see this here? This is the asteroid, and I evoke a space of sacred discharge imbued by the violet flame as I say this. This is the asteroid named Lucifer, and it attempts to stand in front of the stargate. The forces of darkness attempt to block the axis of humanity. And here in Taurus, you can see all of these asteroids at 29 degrees, 3 degrees from Mercury retrograde. You had Pytho here. Pytho is the ancient serpent, another primordial force from Greek mythology. And he is there with Selket, who is so similar to the energy that was present in the chart of Hecate. And we showed in that Schumann resonance image how the forces of darkness were trying to keep us from the protection of feminine figures who can protect humanity and who can teach humanity how to protect themselves from forces in the astral that are negative, that are not human friendly. Well, here's another one of the versions of this feminine goddess, feminine representation, this aspect of the Divine Mother, Selket. And here they are with Sedna, the wounded child, the human children who have been abused by this ancient force, this ancient reptilian force through the millennia of human history. And here is Victory at the same degree. Between Selket on one side of Sedna and Victory on the other, protecting her from Pytho, and Aldebaran at 10 degrees, the star of Archangel Michael, protecting and inviting us into this stargate with Antares, but attempting to be blocked by the forces of darkness. Fertility was attempting to be blocked by these same forces because Last week, during the Texas tragedy, Medea, the psychopath, was at 9 degrees of Cancer right there. And so I explained how the forces of darkness, not only are they attempting to imbue the Antares side of the gateway, Uriel's side of the gate, they were attempting to imbue Archangel Michael's side of the gate at Aldebaran, the new moon at 9 degrees, with the psychopathic energy of Medea and this attack last week on the children. So I recommend that you take a look and watch these videos for much more detailed and fascinating information. This is the new moon video where I talked about the energy of the Pytho and the dark forces attempting to block the Stargate. And this is the video of fertility in children, power and control. And I explained the dynamics that were going on in energy here. And Haumea was highlighted at this moment. There was a yad, the finger of God in astrology, pointed to Haumea at this moment in time when these events occurred. And here we have a pregnant woman giving birth on the Schumann. This, to me, is a clear example, a clear proof that the Schumann is a reflection of human consciousness, and that it is indeed a map of our unconscious and subconscious perceptions of the world around us. It's a reflection because our subconscious is able to paste up images in this way for us to see. We can also access our genetic memory because the dragon is an ancient force. The dragon is a primordial force. Our memory of dragons is in our DNA. We've never seen dragons, have we, in the physical world? Yet we carry the memory. So many human beings carry the memory of this primordial force. And it's making an announcement here on the chart. I'm here to counter the forces of darkness. I'm here, a primordial force of creation, of the Creator itself, because the Creator makes all that is. So I'm here direct from divinity to assist you in continuing the human race, to facilitate and heal what has been done to childbirth and to fertility. Information that, as I said in my video, we have not yet even come to consciously in the human conscious collective, but that will be showing up as Mercury begins to be able to express itself in coming weeks and months. I don't know when that will occur, but we have the images now saying, I've got your back. I've got your back.